common mental disorders that people have heard of is schizophrenia. Now, although a lot of people have heard about it, a lot of people don't really understand what it is. It's a very serious mental disorder that makes it so that people can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. It causes them to react differently than most others in social situations, and they don't have normal emotional responses. Now, people, when they think about schizophrenia, they want to know what causes it. What could cause someone to react so irrationally that they can't go about their daily life? Mental experts aren't quite sure. However, they do think that genes play a big role in it. So if someone in your family already has schizophrenia, you're already at a higher risk of developing the disorder. Men and women are both at risk of developing it, but for some reason, women develop it later in life than men, and it doesn't affect them as badly as it does the men. Now, people think that there's only one way to tell if someone has schizophrenia. If you see them talking to themselves or acting out and doing crazy things, you're like, oh, that person has schizophrenia because they're freaking out like that. But that's not true. The symptoms actually vary because there's more than one form of schizophrenia. The first form is paranoid schizophrenia. This is the one where people do have delusions and they actually do hear voices in their head telling them to do things. The symptoms of this are anxiety, anger, and the false belief that there is someone out to hurt them and their loved ones. The second form is disorganized schizophrenia. Now this is different because they say it's the hardest to live with. The hardest form because it affects how you live your daily life. It keeps you from doing tasks that everybody would do without giving it a thought. And it does this because it affects your thoughts, your speech, and your actions. The symptoms of this is that it causes people to have childlike behavior. And they have problems thinking and getting their points out clearly, and they show very little emotion, if any at all. The third form is catatonic schizophrenia. With catatonic schizophrenia, people have frequent changes in their actions and behavior. So one minute they can be in a dazed and coma-like state, and then the next thing you know, they're talking and acting in a very hyperactive way. And those are the symptoms. If someone is acting really down and their posture is really poor, and they don't seem to be reacting normally to things, and then the next second you know, they're all over the place and they're talking to everyone, that's a pretty clear sign that they have catatonic schizophrenia. People think that it's okay to make fun of people that act like this. They think it's funny when people are constantly looking over their shoulders or freaking out, but I don't think it's funny at all. You have to remember that this can have the worst possible effects on people. For example, Herbert Mullen lived in Salinas, California. He told the police that the voices in his head were telling him that an earthquake in California was going to happen, but he could stop it if he killed enough people. He went out and he killed 13 people. When no earthquake came, he told people, see, I did what I had to do. How can you people blame me for their deaths when I saved our state? David Berkowitz, he was known as Son of Sam. He is an infamous serial killer because he went out and he killed 6 people and seriously injured 7 others. However, he claimed that a demon possessing his neighbor's dog told him to go out and hurt all those people. He said he was only following orders. So as you can see, schizophrenia has a very serious effect on people. But you have to keep in mind that not all people end up like these 2 men did. Some people reach out for help, and when they do that, they get the medication that can help them. Treatments like antipsychotics, for example, can definitely help them. However, if you put a schizophrenic on antipsychotics, mental experts say you should never take them off their medication because they can relapse, and they'll go right back to where they were before, and they probably won't reach out for help the second time. But they say if you do decide to take a schizophrenic off his or her medication, do it slowly, because the sudden stop will trigger something in their mind and they won't know how to react to the sudden change in what's going on. They won't know how to react to the sudden relapse of what was going on before and trying to stay rational at the same time. As you can see, schizophrenia is a very complicated disorder, and a lot of people really don't understand it. And this causes people to either think schizophrenia is funny, or it causes people to be unbelievably afraid that they'll ever meet someone with the disorder. I don't think you need to be afraid. And I also don't think you should be so okay with it that you think it's funny, that you think it's fine that people live with this. No. I think you need to be as informed as you can about it, so if you ever find yourself in a situation that involves schizophrenia, whether it's you or someone you know, you'll be able to understand what's going on and you'll be able to handle the situation accordingly.